Did you know that YouTube is a treasure trove of classic films that you probably do not know about, hiding some of the most influential noir thrillers ever made? Beyond the trending clips lies a hidden vault of uncompromising cinema, where gritty realism and psychological depth were perfected. These 11 masterpieces serve as blueprints for modern suspense. Let us explore the historical significance and production secrets behind these essential noir titles. Number 1. The Hitchhiker, 1953. The Hitchhiker holds a unique and prestigious position in cinematic history, as the only classic film noir directed by a woman during the genre golden age. Directed by the pioneering Ida Lupino, who was a formidable actress before moving behind the camera, the film is a relentless exercise in tension and claustrophobia. Based on the real-life killing spree of Billy Cook in the early 1950s, the story follows two friends on a fishing trip to Mexico who make the fatal mistake of picking up a stranded traveler. What follows is a grueling psychological battle as their captor, played with chilling, unblinking intensity by William Tallman, forces them on a journey toward their own planned execution. The character of Tallman is famously depicted with a paralyzed eyelid that never closes, ensuring the hostages never truly know if he is sleeping or watching them with a cocked revolver in hand. Historically, the film is significant for being an independent production made through the own company of Ida Lupino, the filmmakers, which specialized in low-budget, socially conscious, and hard-hitting dramas. The direction of Lupino is noted for its masculine strength and grit, eschewing the typical romantic subplots of the era in favor of a stark, documentary-like realism. She actually interviewed the real-life survivors of the rampage of Billy Cook to ensure the script captured the true psychological terror of the ordeal. The cinematography of the film, handled by Nicholas Musaraka, uses the vast, open California desert to create a sense of entrapment that is just as suffocating as a locked room. It was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally and historically significant, cementing the legacy of Lupino as a filmmaker who could go toe-to-toe with the most hard-boiled directors of her time. The film remains a masterclass in economy, using a small cast and a single vehicle to generate more dread than most high-budget thrillers of the decade. Number 2. The Red House, 1947. The Red House is a haunting and deeply atmospheric psychological thriller that blurs the lines between traditional film noir and gothic horror. Starring the legendary Edward G. Robinson, the film departs from his usual tough guy persona to present a complex, tortured character named Pete Morgan. Pete is a reclusive farmer who lives with his sister and their adopted daughter on an isolated property in the Sierra Nevada. The tension begins when the daughter, played by Aline Roberts, starts to show curiosity about a forbidden patch of woods on the farm where a mysterious red house is said to be hidden. The performance of Robinson is a masterclass in psychological unraveling, as the secrets of his character and growing paranoia lead him toward a tragic and violent climax. The film is most famous for its incredible musical score composed by Miklos Rosa, which prominently features the theremin to create a surreal and ghostly atmosphere. Miklos Rosa had previously used the instrument to great acclaim in the Alfred Hitchcock film Spellbound, and here he uses it to represent the psychological hauntings and suppressed memories of the character of Robinson. Directed by Delmer Daves, the production utilized location shooting in the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains, which adds a sense of raw, naturalistic dread to the domestic drama. Historically, it is noted for its provocative themes of hidden trauma and the ways in which the past can physically manifest in the present. Retrospective critics have praised the film for its genre-defying elements, often citing it as one of the best and most unique horror thrillers of the late 1940s-70s. The Red House successfully captures a dreamlike quality, where the woods represent the dark recesses of the human mind, making it an essential watch for those who appreciate noir that leans into the subconscious and the uncanny. Number 3. Suddenly, 1954. Suddenly is a stark and high-intensity thriller that features one of the most chilling performances of the storied career of Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra plays John Barron, a cold-blooded and nihilistic professional assassin who arrives in the sleepy town of Suddenly, California, with a singular and world-shaking goal to assassinate the President of the United States. Barron and his henchmen take over a house on a hill that provides a perfect sniper nest overlooking the local train station. They hold the family living there hostage, leading to a tense, claustrophobic standoff as local law enforcement, led by Sterling Hayden, attempts to prevent the unthinkable. The character Barron, played by Frank Sinatra, is a man who openly admits he kills for money and the sheer power it provides, making him one of the most unsympathetic and terrifying villains of 1950s-70s cinema. The film is historically significant due to its eerie and unintended connection to the later assassination of John F. Kennedy. Following the tragic events in Dallas in 1963, Frank Sinatra was reportedly so distraught by the similarities between the plot of the film and the real-life tragedy that he requested the movie be pulled from circulation. For years, the film was difficult to find, eventually falling into the public domain, where it has since been rediscovered by noir enthusiasts. Critically, it is praised for its lean, efficient storytelling and for the willingness of Frank Sinatra to play against his affable crooner image. The film represents a post-war cynicism, focusing on a psychologically broken veteran who turns his lethal skills toward domestic terror. It remains a powerful and unsettling piece of filmmaking that feels remarkably modern in its portrayal of political violence and the vulnerability of the suburban dream. The interplay between Frank Sinatra and Sterling Hayden creates a fascinating ideological battle, with Sterling Hayden representing the moral core of the small town and Frank Sinatra representing the chaotic, mercenary forces of the outside world. Number 4. Cover Up, 1949. Cover Up is a unique and intriguing entry in the noir genre, often described by film historians as a rare example of a Christmas noir. Starring the suave Dennis O'Keefe and the affable William Bendix, the story follows an insurance investigator who arrives in a small, snow-covered Midwestern town just before the holidays to investigate a supposed suicide. However, the investigator quickly realizes that the entire community, including the local sheriff, is conspiring to hide the truth behind the death of the man. The tension arises not from the dark alleys of a big city, but from the polite, festive exterior of small-town life, where secrets are kept to protect the collective peace of the neighborhood. Dennis O'Keefe not only starred in the film but also co-wrote the script under a pseudonym, marking it as a personal project for his own production company. The film is celebrated for its sharp dialogue and the chemistry between Dennis O'Keefe and William Bendix, who provides a more ambiguous and multi-layered performance than his usual comedic roles. Historically, Cover Up is noted for its beautiful, high-contrast black-and-white cinematography by Ernest Laszlo, who would later go on to win an Academy Award. The focus of the film on the moral gray areas of a community that believes it is acting in the best interest of its citizens makes it a fascinating psychological study. It manages to balance the holiday setting with a cynical, noir-inspired mystery, proving that even the most cheerful environments can harbor dark and dangerous secrets. It is a film that challenges the audience to consider whether the truth is always the most important thing, or if some lies are necessary to maintain the fabric of a community during the most wonderful time of the year. Number 5. The Chase, 1946. The Chase is a dreamlike and highly influential film noir that is often cited for its surreal atmosphere and its innovative approach to narrative structure. Based on the novel The Black Path of Fear by Cornell Woolrich, who was a master of the dark and oppressive suspense genre, the film stars Robert Cummings as a penniless veteran who is hired as a chauffeur for a vicious gangster, played by Steve Cochran. The plot takes a sharp and unexpected turn when the driver falls for the wife of the gangster and attempts to flee with her to Cuba, leading to a shocking mid-movie twist that challenges the understanding of the audience of everything they have witnessed up to that point. The film is famous for its almost hypnotic pacing and its use of noir tropes to explore themes of hallucination and psychological instability. It features a memorable and unsettling performance by Peter Lorre as the right-hand man of the gangster, adding to the sense of pervasive dread of the film. Historically, The Chase is significant for how it pushes the boundaries of traditional narrative, utilizing a dream within a dream structure that was quite radical for its time. Critics often compare the atmosphere of the film to the best of Cornell Woolrich fiction, noting its nocturnal, nightmare-like quality that predates many of the psychological thrillers of the 1950s-70s. The production faced challenges with the Hays Office censors due to its dark content, leading to several adjustments that only added to the mysterious and elliptical nature of the film. It remains a definitive example of the more avant-garde and experimental side of the noir cycle, offering a visual experience that is as beautiful as it is unsettling. Number 6. Quicksand, 1950. Quicksand is a fast-paced and relentlessly tense thriller that serves as a fascinating example of how a small, seemingly insignificant choice can lead to a total moral collapse. Mickey Rooney delivers a powerful performance, cast entirely against his Andy Hardy good boy image, as a hard-working garage mechanic named Dan Brady. The plot kicks into gear when Dan Brady decides to borrow $20 from the cash register to go on a date with a beautiful femme fatale, fully intending to pay it back before it is noticed. However, a series of unfortunate coincidences and increasingly desperate choices pull him deeper into a web of crime, car theft, and even potential murder. The film is aptly titled, as the protagonist finds himself sinking further into trouble with every move he makes to rectify his initial mistake. The production features a standout supporting role for Peter Lorre as a seedy arcade owner on the Santa Monica Pier, providing an additional layer of noir-infused danger to the story. Historically, Quicksand is appreciated for its realistic and unsentimental portrayal of the downward spiral of an ordinary person caught in the machinery of fate. It captures the restless energy of post-war youth and the economic pressures that could drive a person to the brink of desperation. Directed by Irving Pichel, the film moves with a frantic energy that mirrors the growing panic of the protagonist, making it one of the most effective and memorable B-noir films of the early 1950s-70s. The location shooting at the Santa Monica Pier and surrounding areas provides a vivid sense of time and place, adding to the gritty and authentic feel of the film. Number 7. The Strange Woman, 1946. The Strange Woman is a dark and compelling period thriller that features one of the most powerful and ruthless femme fatale roles of the era, played by the legendary Hedy Lamarr. Set in 19th-century Maine, the story follows Jenny Hager, a beautiful and manipulative woman who uses her charms to rise through the social ranks of a lumber town, often at the expense of the men who fall under her spell. Jenny Hager is a character of immense psychological complexity, acting as a predator who views wealth and power as the only means of survival in a world controlled by men. The narrative explores her relationships with a wealthy older man, his idealistic son, and a rugged lumberman, leading to a series of betrayals and violent confrontations. Historically, this film is significant because it was a high-budget, independent production that allowed Hedy Lamarr to showcase her true dramatic range beyond her glamorous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer image. She actually co-produced the film through her own partnership, marking her as a savvy business leader in the industry. Directed by the master of moody B-cinema, Edgar G. Ulmer, with contributions from Douglas Sirk, the film features atmospheric cinematography and a sense of gothic dread that was unusual for a historical melodrama. The production was noted for its incredible set design, which helps create a world that feels both beautiful and oppressive. While the film went significantly over budget during production, it was a moderate box office success and remains a standout example of how the noir archetype of the femme fatale could be effectively transported into a different historical period to explore themes of ambition and moral corruption. It is a film that demands attention for its sheer visual ambition and the magnetic performance of Hedy Lamarr. Number 8. The Man Who Cheated Himself, 1950. The Man Who Cheated Himself is a stylish and suspenseful San Francisco set noir that explores the themes of ethical compromise and brotherly betrayal. Starring Lee J. Cobb as a veteran homicide detective named Ed Cullen, the film tells the story of an honest cop who falls into a moral morass after his married lover accidentally kills her husband. Instead of reporting the crime, Ed Cullen decides to cover it up, only to find himself being investigated by his own rookie brother, played by John Dahl, who is eager to prove his skills on his very first big case. The tension is derived from the increasingly desperate attempts of Ed Cullen to stay one step ahead of the methodical investigation of his brother. The film is highly regarded by location buffs for its extensive and beautiful use of San Francisco locations, capturing the city as it appeared over 70 years ago. The climactic showdown takes place at the historic Fort Point, under the arched span of the Golden Gate Bridge, providing one of the most memorable and atmospheric endings in noir history. Directed by Felix E. Feist, the production is noted for its sharp cinematography by Russell Harlan and its realistic portrayal of police procedures. Historically, it is significant for casting Lee J. Cobb in a rare lead role, where he delivers a nuanced performance as a man whose loyalty to his brother and his duty as a cop are slowly destroyed by his own choices. It remains an essential watch for its unique family dynamic and its masterful use of its urban setting to heighten the sense of mounting dread and inevitable discovery. The film serves as a perfect example of the mid-century police procedural merged with the psychological depth of noir. Number 9. Trapped, 1949. Trapped is a gritty and impactful crime thriller that serves as a landmark entry in the semi-documentary subgenre of film noir. Directed by Richard Fleischer in one of his early professional projects, the film stars Lloyd Bridges as a convicted counterfeiter who is released from prison by the United States Treasury Department to help them go undercover and take down an active counterfeiting ring. The narrative follows the high-stakes operation as the agents navigate the dangerous underworld, where any small mistake can mean a death sentence. The film is noted for its realistic and clinical approach to the investigative process, utilizing real locations and a voiceover narration that provides a sense of authenticity to the story. The significance of Trapped lies in its technical precision and its focus on the procedural details of the work of the United States Treasury Department. It was produced by Brian Foy, who was famously known as the Keeper of the Bee at Warner Brothers, and he brought a level of professional polish to this low-budget production. The film features a standout performance by Barbara Payton, who adds a layer of noir-infused danger and tragedy to the proceedings. Historically, the movie has been praised for its high-contrast cinematography and its ability to deliver cinematic tension without relying on excessive spectacle. It was recently restored by the Film Noir Foundation, allowing modern audiences to appreciate its lean, efficient storytelling and its place as a key example of the post-war police procedural. For fans of director Richard Fleischer, who would later helm classics like Soylent Green, Trapped offers an early look at his mastery of atmospheric tension and character-driven suspense. Number 10. Fear in the Night, 1946. Fear in the Night is a tense and highly atmospheric psychological thriller that represents one of the most effective, low-budget adaptations of the work of Cornell Woolrich. The film stars a young DeForest Kelley in his cinematic debut, nearly 2 decades before he would achieve global fame as Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy in the Star Trek franchise. DeForest Kelley plays a bank teller named Vince Grayson, who awakens from a vivid and terrifying nightmare in which he commits a murder in a strange, mirrored room. The horror begins when he finds physical evidence in his own home, a key and a blood-stained button that suggests the dream may have actually happened in reality. The film is noted for its surreal and dreamlike sequences, utilizing mirrors and high-contrast lighting to create a sense of psychological disorientation. Directed by Maxwell Shane, who also wrote the screenplay, based on the story of Cornell Woolrich and So to Death. The production is a masterclass in building suspense through internal dread rather than external action. Historically, it is significant as one of the standout examples of the B-movie psychological thriller, focusing on themes of hypnosis, memory manipulation, and the fear of the self. The low budget of the film is used to its advantage, creating a claustrophobic and personal story that reflects the anxieties of the post-war era. It was later remade by the same director as Nightmare, but the original version remains a favorite for noir enthusiasts for its raw intensity and for providing an early look at the talent of DeForest Kelley. His performance captures the mounting panic of a man who can no longer trust his own mind, making the central mystery feel incredibly visceral. Number 11. Port of New York, 1949. Port of New York is a tough and realistic police procedural that holds a special place in Hollywood history as the first film role of the legendary Yul Brynner. Directed by Laszlo Benedek, who would later direct the classic The Wild One, the story follows 2 narcotics agents as they attempt to track down a ruthless and murderous drug smuggling ring operating out of the New York City docks. Yul Brynner plays the villainous Paul Vicola, a cold-blooded gangster who oversees the narcotics trade and is not afraid to eliminate anyone, including his own girlfriend, if they threaten his operation. The film is shot in a stark, documentary style that emphasizes the gritty reality of the waterfront and the relentless nature of law enforcement. The film is historically significant for the magnetic and menacing performance of Yul Brynner, showcasing the star power that would soon make him an icon. Despite having a full head of hair in this role, his presence is unmistakable. The production utilized extensive location shooting in New York Harbor, adding a layer of authentic atmospheric tension that was rare for B-thrillers of the time. The film is noted for its focus on the technological and scientific aspects of the investigation, providing a detailed look at how federal agents work to uncover international criminal networks. Critically, Port of New York is appreciated for its lean pacing and its refusal to shy away from the brutal violence of the criminal underworld. It remains a fascinating relic of the early 1950s-70s police procedural, offering a direct window into the transition of Hollywood noir toward more grounded, reality-based storytelling. The interaction between the agents, played by Scott Brady and Richard Robber, provides a solid dramatic backbone to the high-stakes smuggling plot. These 11 noir thrillers prove that YouTube is indeed a massive, often overlooked archive of cinema history, offering a direct portal to legendary performances and groundbreaking storytelling techniques. From the technical innovations of early psychological thrillers to the historical significance of iconic debuts, these films provide a rich perspective on the evolution of suspense. We encourage you to explore these incredible free resources and dive into the deep, often hidden history of noir.